Hi, everybody. It's Ron Ruth again with ronruth.com and the founder of the Imaginativity Institute. And as I promised, back for one more round is my new best friend. This is Matt Ward, the author of More Word of Mouth Referrals, Lifelong Customers and Raving Fans. And we've in our first round of conversation, we had a lot of fun talking about how to go about getting referrals, especially in the DJ world, from everyone that you work with, all the other members of the wedding team, and how important it is to develop a relationship and not just ask for the referrals, which is, as Matt says, it's kind of like begging for work. But there's so much more in Matt's book I want to try to get to, and I'm going to use this as a jumping off point to start, I guess. Or is that a jumping off point or a jumping on point? It doesn't really matter. All right, so we're going to use this. Rule number 1, stay in touch. Regardless of how much you think you might be bothering someone, if you fail to stay in touch, you'll fail to get their referrals. And on the contrary, if you find unique ways to ways to reach out to your contacts, you will get more referrals. It's that simple. And I think that staying in touch is a good part of is a part that actually gets forgotten, I think, or not overlooked by most professionals in any business. Am I right?
You are all right. Yes, you're right. So that was my Matthew McConaughey impression. But yes, the problem with staying in touch is many small businesses do not have a CRM system, a customer relationship management system.
Right.
And so you can find these for free or for short money.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not familiar if there's one in the DJ world specifically, but HubSpot CRM is free for unlimited amount of users and unlimited amount of contacts. They do charge a premium for some of the features in there, but you don't need the features. You need a CRM that allows you to do tasks to remind you to stay in touch with people.
And that was HubSpot?
HubSpot CRM.
I love HubSpot. Yeah.
So they have a marketing platform, but they also have a CRM platform, which is just pretty much contacts and tasks with reminders and all these things.
Right.
We use it in our speaking business. And when I had the web business, we had one called Act, which you would buy a software and install it on your computer. You've got to have something that reminds you to stay in touch with people, because we're forgetful people. We're busy people too. If you stay in touch, if you find unique ways to stay in touch with people, they're going to remember you more often than they're going to remember another DJ. And when you're competing for business, that is a powerful thing.
Absolutely. Yeah. Staying top of mind is important in every industry, in every profession. It doesn't really matter. If you want,
I should add one thing. We're talking about referrals here, but I want to be clear on one thing. This goes for sales too. When people inquire about your service, you've got to set a process of follow-up every single week. You've got to touch base with them until they tell you not to call them until X time. People are busy. They're busy. They're doing lots of things. They're working. They're running a family life. They're buying houses. They're getting married. They're moving jobs. They're moving cities. There's sickness and health issues going on. People are crazy busy these days, and you've got to figure out how you can ensure that you're consistently in the inbox with them. And that's on sales, and it's on referrals as well.
Well, and I think in going back to the sales question, staying in touch, rather than, I would argue, rather than saying, hey, are you ready to buy? Are you ready to buy? Do you have any questions? What I suggest to the clients that I work with is that rather than doing that, send them content. In other words, here's something, I thought you might enjoy these 4 ideas of fun things that you could do at your wedding to make it more memorable and enjoyable for your guest. It's not 100%. Really, you're not asking for a sale. What you're doing is you're saying, here's content.
You're providing value. Nobody
else is providing content or what you would refer to as value. Nobody else is doing it. So that helps you stand out just simply by doing it. Because if all you're doing is constantly asking for the sale, which we all get those emails all the time, then eventually you're not only going to lose the sale, you're going to tick somebody off in the long run.
Right.
So what I really wanted to focus on as we move on in this conversation is what I love about your book is you came up with, and I love this terminology, a personal care package. It's where you if you want to stand out from the noise of marketing and advertising that bombards your contacts every day, you must find a clever way to reach them. As I was just talking about, offering them content is one way of doing that. But you broke it down into 4 pillars: over delivery, listening, surprise, and non-self-serving acts. So let's kind of dive into each of those briefly for a few moments, because I think they're all of value.
I think over delivery is pretty simple. Over delivery happens when you have a transaction, right? Something was transacted, some business, some conversation, something. So over delivery in the DJ world could be your willingness to stay extra time and not charge. Now, I'm not advocating that you give away your fee at all for free, but you need to figure out what does your client expect,
right?
And how can you exceed that expectation? So is there expectation that you'll reply within 48 hours of any email? Then exceed that by being on top of it within 6 hours, and set up systems to allow you to do that. Figure out what over delivery is in the sense of the actual day of work.
Right.
They expect you to be there, but if you bring an assistant, is that an over delivery? So figure out how you can over deliver. Once you sign a contract, do you then send a package of like a physical package to them that no one else is going to do? Because a lot of times it's just going to sign a digital contract and, okay, I got my DJ, I'm moving on. But what if you sent a box of chocolates? What if you sent something like a playlist on a zip drive? Get unique and start.
You can't. Oh, a playlist you could send, but not the music. So
okay, well, that's a good point. Those are things I don't know, being not in the industry,
right.
But you get my point. Is that It's like, okay, well, how can you? Is there a unique item or gift that you can send them as a thank you that you heard them talk about? That they're, are they Disney fans? And so you can send them a custom set of mouse ears, his and hers mouse ears, and package them up in a box, right? You got to get unique about that. So that's over delivery. The second thing.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yep. The second thing is listening.
Well, wait. Yeah. Go back. I want to talk some more about over delivery.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because I wanted to, and it's funny because I wanted to give an example. This is I signed up with and I may have shared this story with you at another time. I signed up with an online speaker directory because I do public speaking as well. And after I signed up, I've been in the wedding business for 27 years, and I have been on, I don't know how many wedding directories I've been a member of. And usually the only time you ever hear from the people on a wedding directory is at the end of your contract, and they just call you and they want more money because obviously they're going to increase their rates, which every year it's just always the same thing. But nobody ever checks in with you to see how you're doing. How's your marketing working? Is there anything I might be able to do to help you with your marketing? No, it's dead air for 12 months. So I signed up for the speaker directory service, and the first thing that just surprised the heck out of me was about 3 weeks after I signed up, I got a thank you card from the guy that owns the speaker directory, thanking me. It's a handwritten card. I don't think you can really see it, but it's a handwritten card thanking me for being a member of this organization. And I hope you really enjoy your experience. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to my team and then let me know if there's anything we can help you with. This, I have blogged about this. I have posted this on social media. Just a simple thank you card. And no, there was no business card inside. There was no coupon for additional services. And
Ron, the reason this works is because no one else is doing it.
Right. And it's memorable. I mean, it's something this silly.
And when you over-deliver, people tell the world.
Yeah, absolutely.
They blog about it. They go on social media. They go on podcasts and webcasts and talk about it. That's what you're doing.
And what I tell DJs is that because, even if you don't have an idea of something that you can send them, or maybe it's not in your budget to be able to afford to send them things. If you just send a thank you card that says, thank you so much for selecting me for your event. It means so much. I can tell you right now, you're a fun couple. We're going to have a lot of fun planning for your wedding. And I'll be reaching out to you very shortly so we can plan our first meeting. Just something that simple, and without a business card, because otherwise it becomes a marketing piece. But I think that's extremely important. So, and I'm sorry, I just cut you off, but
no, it's all good. I think this is important. And here's the thing about the pillars is they intertwine, which I'll explain to you in a second. You know, when it comes to listening, the second pillar, it's really like when you go to write that card, if you write a line in that card about what you talked about, that's powerful. Listening is with your eyes and your ears. So I talked about this in our first session of the webcast, where if we're watching and paying attention, we can see the mouse ears behind you. We can see the Mickey Mouse. We can hear other webcasts where you talk about the Disney experience and your love of Disney and things like that. And so, you know, you might think, well, when you're watching this webcast, oh, he's got art behind him. You know, well, what is it art? No, I mean me. And so you might wonder, well, what's the John Lennon and what's the Einstein? If you can't see them, this is the John Lennon, and then this is the Einstein. But it's not anything to do with John Lennon or Einstein. It's actually got to do with professional speaker and painter Eric Wall, right? So it's about understanding and knowing who you're dealing with and what that is, and listening to lots of different things. Where did they go to school? All these other things.
Well, and you say in that chapter, in that number 2 segment, you talk about and I love this quote, imagine for a moment how the world would look if you listened to or observed your contacts, knowing that they were going to share information about themselves that would be incredibly useful to you and future conversations. And I would take that a step further. And again, relating back to DJs for a few moments, imagine listening or observing something that your contacts are saying where you hear an idea of something that you can offer them in the way of a creative activity or idea, or something that they can do during the wedding reception that's going to make it even more personal, right, and memorable.
Now, let me take that one step further.
Oh, we're going to one-up each other here.
Next pillar of surprise.
Okay.
If you listen so intently to your clients throughout the process of planning, and then you plan a surprise for the day of the event that you know will hit them hard. For instance, instead of gifting them the Mickey Mouse ears, you have them behind the DJ booth. And then in the middle of the thing, you play a Disney song that you know that they love or had mentioned to them, and you give them the mouse ears at that moment. They're going to light up like a Christmas tree, right? If you can connect with people in that way, the surprise aspect is so powerful. So I'll give you one example. I have a speaker friend who doesn't have any kids, and he went in a Facebook group and he said he birthed the new keynote, which he said that because it took him 9 months to create the thing. Birth the new keynote. Actually deliver it. So he called it birthing. So what does Matt do? He sees this and he calls edible arrangements in St. Petersburg, Florida, where Scott lives. And I ordered an edible arrangements new baby bouquet. So Scott gets a call from the concierge in his condo building. He goes downstairs and the guy says, "Do you and Holly have something to tell me? Because on the top of this edible arrangements fruit basket are 2 balloons that say happy new baby boy." Right? And so like Scott was completely flushed with color and had not, so he had to go explain the whole thing. Then he comes back upstairs, gets on a live Facebook feed inside that group, that speakers group, and shares with the world exactly what happened. People, when you surprise people because you listened, it is so memorable to them. Scott has now gone on to talk about this on his podcast, to talk about it from an HR perspective, because that's what he speaks about. He had me as a guest on his podcast, and he explained the personal care package that I did for him. So these things are memorable. So strategize and figure out how you can listen and surprise all at the same time. And these pillars are interwoven, right? So sometimes you might listen and learn information. You might surprise somebody having learned information. You might over delivery. Something you do might have all three of those things mixed, or just two of the three, or whatever. That's the beauty of it, is it's not any one thing. It's a combination of all these things over a longer period of time, you know?
It's, and when you talk about surprise, and with all and your knowledge now that I have this adoration for Disney, this is what I call unexpected magic, and what Disney calls unexpected magic. I don't want to steal their trademark. So this is what Disney calls unexpected magic, and I'm a firm believer in being able to do these things, like with the mouse ears behind the console. If you know your customer, if you really took the time to get to know the people that you're working with, then this is going to be okay for you to do this kind of a surprise, as long as you don't try to make it all about yourself.
And if
make
I was smart,
but
if I had done enough of my research, Ron, I'd be wearing mouse ears like right now. I would have a pair of.
The world needs more of
mouse ears.
Yes.
The world needs more caring and more mouse ears.
Yeah. We need at least one day a week where everybody wears mouse ears. But I mean, I think, like, okay, for one of the things that I offer in the way of unexpected magic or surprises is what, as you refer to them, is that I video everything, and I pull audio out of my soundboard, so I'm getting clean audio on every spoken word, from the introductions to the toast to the love story to everything. And then what I do is after the event is concluded, over the next couple of days, I will go back through the video and I'll lay the clean audio over the video, and I will edit it down so that I can send them a copy of their toast, the introductions, or maybe it was their love story, just anything that I can provide. But I don't tell them I'm going to do this in advance. I just send it to them along with a thank you.
So what I love about that is it is a complete surprise.
When absolutely.
I don't tell them I'm going to do this. That's what makes it a surprise.
Yeah, you don't go. And on top of that, if you tell them you're going to do something like that and you have a video or an audio problem, you're pretty much screwed. I mean,
yeah. You do need to hold some things close to the chest in business,
right?
Because of those issues, and because of timing issues,
right,
and relationship issues, and all kinds of things. There's reasons why you don't want to put too much out there, and I'm not advocating at all for the whole concept of sort of under promise and over deliver.
Right.
I think that is not authentic and not ideal. So the fourth pillar is non-self-serving acts. And so we talked about that a little bit in the first webcast, but a non-self-serving act, the best example I give people is when you start talking about the benefits of a specific book, mm-hmm. and they perk mm-hmm. up. Then you go to Amazon, you buy the book. You can even buy it on eBay used, kind of clean it up, whatever. Libraries sell books all the time that are in perfect condition. And then you inscribe in the front page of the book your gift to this person, and you mail it to them. And it's a surprise. You don't tell them it's coming.
Right.
It's a non-self-serving act mixed with surprise. And it has no bearing or benefit to you. That's how I define it. And when you give, so for example, if I were to send an article to Ron that was about Disney magic that I read, then that's not of any benefit to me. I'm not sending Ron an article that I wrote on my blog about how to care about other people, right, or how to connect. It's about his content, and there's no benefit for me from that.
Right.
But it's relationship building, and it's another touch point which allows me to show up in his life where no one else is doing that.
Right.
And so now let me deal with the big pressing issue that some DJs are thinking about, like right now.
Wow.
The first question is, dude, really? This is a lot of work. A lot of work. I don't have time for all this stuff. This carrying thing, it's too much time. you're thinking that right now because you're thinking about the 1,500 contacts you have. That's the problem. You can't eat an elephant all at once. It's one bite at a time. All I want you to do is focus on just a few contacts, 2, 3, 4, or 5 contacts, no more than 6, to start building more meaningful relationships with. These should be people who are not necessarily clients. They're more likely to be referral partners. They can be a client if they've referred 3 or more people to you, because that seems like they're a sphere of influence and they can
absolutely.
Otherwise, they should be a referral source, and they should be people you want to hang out with at a barbecue. No exception. Absolutely no exception. At the end of building a relationship with these people, you need to want to be with them when they're not giving you business. That's the type of relationship you want. I call it the high five effect. Can't we just do business with people we truly care about, walk down a hallway of any building and just give them a high five? That's what I'm striving for in the world of business. And you just start with less than 6 and you build this relationship over a small period of time. Now, everybody in the world wants a hack. They always say, what's the tip? How can I really get more referrals like right away? I'm going to give you 2 ways to do this. One is digital and one is non-digital. Okay, so I'll start with the non-digital one. It's what I call the 20-20-20 plan. Okay, it's 20 cards. So you're going to buy a bulk set of cards at Walmart or Amazon. No cards. They're not going to be thank you cards. They're going to be blank cards. And you pick 20 contacts. And you send each contact 1 card each business day of the month. There's 20 business days in the month. You have 20 contacts. That's 1 card per person, right?
Right.
There's your first 20 in the 20-20-20 plan. The second month, you rinse and repeat. The same 20 contacts get 1 card that month, and it's 1 contact, 1 card, 1 day per business day. That's the second part of the 20. And you guessed it, the third part of the 20 is the same thing the third month. So now you have 20 contacts after 90 days that have received 3 handwritten note cards from you. I guarantee you will get a referral. I can't guarantee the level of the referral. I can't guarantee whether or not you sell it. But I can guarantee you'll get a referral because you are showing up like no one else is. So that's the analog version. The digital version hack. I want you to go to LinkedIn and you look at the feed of what's happening on LinkedIn. You can do this on Facebook too if you choose. The people who are posting or commenting are the people who are active. We then click on their profile and we send them a message. Hey, I'd love to have a catch-up call. I'd love to hear what you're doing. I'd love to share what I'm up to these days. That same canned message goes to each person you decide to connect with or do this with. I want you to do 15 catch-up call requests a week for the first month. You then have to schedule the time. So what's going to happen is, out of the 15, 8 are going to want to talk to you rather quickly within the next week. And then you have catch-up calls, whether it be on Zoom or the phone. I don't care how you do it. Just get off the digital platform. You can even do a video conference through Facebook or something like that. Use Zoom, use a free conference call, use your phone, use what?
Skype.
So use Skype, use what's that thing on the iPhone?
FaceTime.
FaceTime, right? Use any of these tools and connect, right? And have a conversation. And when you start the conversation, I want you to ask 3 questions about them before turning it back on yourself. Because what's going to happen is once you get to the 3 questions, they're going to ask you questions you won't even have to turn on yourself. So you do this for 1 month, 15 contact requests per week, you're going to get a referral. Let me tell you how easy this is for me. Last month, I did a series of catch-up calls with people on LinkedIn. Hadn't talked to somebody in 6 years, but we were connected on LinkedIn. We were part of a reseller program with Constant Contact Email Marketing. I was the number 3 partner in the country for many years. And she was part of the program as well. And I knew her from conferences. She lives in Houston. I'm on the call and we start talking about what she's doing. She then turns around and says, what are you doing? I tell her. She says, huh, I'm the president of a chapter here in Houston, Texas, and I need a speaker in May. I said, I think we can work that out. It's like, I don't have a lot of money. I'm like, that's okay. We'll find a way to work together. And we did. We found a way to work together, right? I think that you have to decide how you want to grow your business and how you want your relationships to be a part of that. Catch-up calls and handwritten note cards will jumpstart your referral business almost overnight.
And you could actually, in the DJ world, you could do those catch-up calls with the heavier influencers like venues and that sort of thing. Photographers, especially some of the hotter photographers in the area, the ones that you know are getting a great deal of business, or that you see at every event that you're working at. So once again, we have pushed the. Here's what I'm going to do. I want to suggest to everybody, all the viewers out there, do you happen to have a copy of your book handy, Matt, that you could show us? So here's what I want you to do, because there is 40, what did we decide? There was 40 some odd.
I believe there's 41 or 42 lessons.
41 or 42 specific ways that you can connect. Yes. With your, and it's easy to read. Matt is a
90-minute read.
It's a 90-minute read. And I told Matt, I said, I was reviewing the book yesterday in the dentist chair. And my dentist was even going, ooh, look at that. That's a good idea. In between drilling, it was spectacular. But anyway, go buy this book. You can buy it on Amazon. It's called More Word of Mouth Referrals, Lifelong Customers and Raving Fans. Author is Matt Ward, my new best friend. He's right there. Yes. And thank you so much, Matt, for you got shorter for some reason. I'm not sure.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe this thing moved here.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, okay. I was
the magic of Disney.
Yeah, he got wet and he shrunk. He became a dwarf. One of the 7.
It's like, it's a small world.
No, God, no, please, no. So, Matt, thank you so much. And to the viewers, thank you so much for watching. If you want, you can reach out to me at ron@discjockeynews.com with any questions that you may have, and I'll be happy to help you out. And again, thank you so much. I'll see you next time.